Welcome to Both Sides Now, featuring the unconventional duo, Dr. Shirley and medium Kellee White. Two perspectives, one world. This is Both Sides Now.
Woo-hoo. Hi, everybody. I'm spiritual medium Kellee White, and I'm here with John Williams. Hi, John.
Hey, Kel. Happy to be here. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. We had some issues
Sure
trying
did.
to get on.
Good Lord. Yeah, I had to authorize everything all over again. So that was a bit of a delay in getting on with, because there's a lot of pieces that go to this to get this thing on the road. So.
I know, on the road again. It's
And
very
the computer was
true.
like, forced update. I'm like, oh, great timing. Yeah. And so then I had to log in everything through Google again. And yeah, but we're here. So.
But we're here. And
Yes.
that could be because Uranus goes retrograde on
I
Saturday.
love how we can always link it back to an astrology issue.
That is so true. But before we
Yeah.
do that, I have to tell you the funniest thing. So as I was getting ready to go in to start the show, before it took a few minutes
Yeah.
to get here, my husband walks in and he goes, "Oh, what's the show on tonight?" And I go, "Ask me anything." And he goes,
Yeah.
without missing a beat, "What's for dinner?" So that was for you, Don. I don't know what's for dinner.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, we've been having people are asking about Lionsgate, and if in fact right now Kim is asking that question: are the computer issues due to Lionsgate? And I was
Probably.
told that the Lionsgate's energy is actually more potent than the whole Mercury retrograde, so it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't
I
related to
think
that.
you're right, Kim. Probably between that and this
Yeah.
Uranus going retrograde and
Yeah.
all the other planets that are retrograde and everything that's going on. I don't know about you guys, but this energy is just intense,
It is.
right?
It
It's
is. I
just
mean, I'm
intense.
just exhausted all the time. I mean, when I'm not working, I'm resting. I mean, that's
know.
how exhausting it is. And I think it's because
Yeah.
we're processing so much, and
Yeah.
gearing up for a big event.
I think it's
I have
gearing
to
up for a
say.
big event, and I think that the energies are denser now.
Yeah.
It's something about the denseness, kind of, because
Well,
I
yeah,
wake up and I'm like,
especially as
what
empath.
is
Yeah.
empaths? I'm starting to feel all of this intensity, and there's a
Mhm.
couple of things I do want to talk about astrologically speaking, because
Yeah.
we have, August, as you said, we're gearing up for some major things that
Yeah.
will occur
And a
in
lot of
the
empaths are
next few
feeling
months.
it. I
Yeah.
mean,
Mhm.
that spidey sense.
Yeah, the spidey sense, and I think that you would
Yeah.
have to be pretty dense not to feel
Yeah.
something's coming around that corner. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I don't think you have to be an empath actually to feel this, but
Right.
empaths feel it more.
But
But first, okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
I
What?
was gonna say before we get into all of that, let's talk
Mhm.
about your Starseed event that happened on Tuesday. That was powerful. It was such a great event.
It was a really great event.
Yeah,
Thank you, everybody that
there's a lot of people in
participated.
the audience that are here that was at that
I
event.
hope everybody learned a lot. I mean, it was really great. Afterwards, James called me and he said, he said he learned so much, and I thought it was just great. I loved every moment of it, and the questions were fabulous, and the
Mhm.
unity of the group, and that there were some young children that were actually part of this that were star seeds that their mothers had come together and
Right.
creating special schools for these kids, and I just thought it was fantastic. It warmed my heart. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty amazing, and
Wasn't it amazing?
we went late into the
Oh
after
my God,
party.
3 hours, everybody. 3 hours. And then you went into an after party? No,
Yeah,
I went to bed, but
I know you
I,
did.
oh,
Well, I kept looking. I was like, "Well, let's see," and then
oh my
I was like,
gosh.
"I know Kel's on a different time zone than most of us here, so
Hmm.
let's be respectful of that." And yeah, 3 hour was
Yes.
the event, so it was two and a
Hmm.
half hour recorded, 3 hour total for the event, and then we went
Hmm.
after. So I pretty much unmuted everybody who wanted to stay after, and we just hung out until the wee
Yeah.
hours of the evening, going into the morning.
My
Yeah,
God.
it
And there were
was.
people from all over the world. It was
Oh yeah,
really, really interesting. And it was
yeah,
just a lovely group. And we'll do it again. We have some other
yeah,
ideas for other topics in that arena, and I think that people will love them. It
yeah.
was
It was
a
a
lot of
lot of
fun.
fun. It really
So,
was.
and thanks, John. You were terrific
Oh,
helping
you were
everybody.
amazing.
And
Thank you. It was my pleasure. I
woof.
didn't want it to end. It was obviously, because I went with the after party for so long. But I mean, because I think what it is we crave that information, and we crave to
Yeah.
be with, we said it on the broadcast, it's a reunion of souls.
Yeah.
It's a And the internet provides that for us. It connects us no matter where we're in the world, a
Yeah.
reunion. It's a reunion of soul family. And I just thought it was so
Yeah.
powerful. And like you said, we had autistic kids that were
Mhm.
watching, we had the parents there. It was pretty powerful. It was
Really
quite a
powerful.
diverse audience.
And
Yeah.
everybody was very respectful of
Yes,
everybody's time of asking a
they
question
sure
and
were.
letting them process the
Mhm.
information. And I there were a lot of tears, a lot of people cried,
Yeah,
a lot of Palladians were crying,
right.
because they're very
'Cause they
emotional.
were recognized for the first time, and they got to realize that
Yeah.
there's others out there like them, and they're not
Yeah.
crazy.
And they're
Yeah.
not crazy. No, that's
Mhm.
the one thing I wanted to make sure everybody knew, that,
Mhm.
when these kids are born, some of them are very sensitive and they know they're not from around here and they get made fun of, or they go inward and they don't talk
Yeah.
about who they are, or they don't believe it. And it's a whole dynamic. And then later
Mhm.
on, they're thrown into therapy, and a therapist often can make a mistake and say something dumb like, where are you from? You're from a galaxy? Great. I'm going to
Mm.
lock you up. You must be a nut. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
the thing
really
with you being a
important.
therapist, how
Hmm.
reassuring, and knowing that a lot of the
Yeah.
information was coming from a psychologist as well,
Hmm.
Dr.
Backman,
Backman.
Backman.
Yeah, I mean,
She's extraordinary. She's
th
extraordinary.
yeah, there's a lot of people
Hmm.
in the psychology field that are getting this, which is super
Yes.
powerful.
Thank
Yeah,
God. Thank God we
super
are.
empowering.
Well,
Yes.
again, we started off with the term indigo.
Mhm.
And indigo children, eh, some people that are watching me remember jazz musicians, and jazz musicians often were blue rays or indigos. I mean, it's a
Mhm.
group of souls that came in that thought out of the box.
Yeah,
And these often are star seeds.
right.
They come from other galaxies. You
Yeah.
might, and you may be one yourself and you don't know it, and you may not
Mhm.
recognize it until something happens and an alarm goes off. And all of a sudden, you start to pay attention to things like the stars, or where
Mhm.
you think differently. Something happens, and in the
Yeah.
star seed people is an alarm that all of a sudden will go off. And you can be in your 60s when it goes off. I certainly was. You can be in
Mhm.
your 70s. You could be in your 20s. You can be knowing born. I told a story on the
Yeah,
show about a friend that I knew.
right.
He was 3 when he knew. He told his mother. He said, "I'm not from here."
Yeah.
He knew at 3.
Mhm.
So it's so interesting to me. And one of the traits of starseeds are they either love science fiction, which I do not. I never watched Star Wars, Star
Mm.
Trek. I could care less. But another trait which I love is astrology,
Yeah, astrology and astronomy, like
astronomy, the
looking up at the
stars and the
stars. Yeah.
moon, and
I remember as a kid just loving planetariums and things like that, and wanting to recreate a
yeah,
planetarium in my bedroom with those stars that you could hang on the wall, that or
yeah,
on the ceiling and on the walls that would glow,
yep,
yeah, and you create a whole starry world.
mm,
I would put a comet on the ceiling fan so that it would go around, things like
that's
that.
very creative.
Yeah. Oh, I always was. I was a daydreamer, creative. The Pisces in me came out as a kid. I recreated so much in my bedroom. It was,
Wow,
yeah,
wow, I
major
love that.
imagination. Yeah.
Wow. So we'll give some traits.
Yeah.
I have some traits for everybody, and then let me
Yeah.
do the astrology first, and then
Okay.
I'll
You
I'll
got
give
it.
some traits, and then I've got a lot of ask me anything. I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
going to have for dinner yet, but you can ask me anything. If you need a recipe, I'm probably your girl. I could probably
That's
whip
true.
something up.
Yeah.
So let me know and ask me anything. So let's just start with Uranus going retrograde in Taurus, and that happens on Saturday. And this goes until January 14th, 2021. All right. The last time Uranus was retrograde in Taurus was 80 years ago. So most of us haven't really experienced it. Not none of us, but most of us have not.
Mhm.
And this is going to, Uranus, when it goes retrograde, it's either going to help us let go of something, or it's going to help us give a new perspectives of something and strengthen us. So you'll have that awareness. It's either time to let go of this or time to really hone myself into something. So it's actually a really, really important time. The other thing is, here's another thing with the energy. It may make us a little shaky and a little unsteady.
Mhm.
So that is part of what's happening with this Uranus retrograde. It may be leading you to look at your life a little closer in some areas, physically or emotionally or mentally. Something you might want to look at. So Uranus doesn't just shake us up for no reason. It actually comes to wake us up. So always remember that Uranus is the planet of surprise and new age thinking, out of the box. There's no box,
Mhm.
and it will kind of push us to a new path when it's retrograde. Also, interesting enough, it will help us connect to our spirit guides. And yes, we all have spirit guides. So, any questions of spirit guides, I'm happy to answer, but we all have spirit guides. All of us have a minimum of one. What I'm seeing now with everybody is several and a team around people. Interesting enough. But it also may connect us to past lives. So, some people may be more interested in a past life. And yes, we've all had past lives. Some we've had on Earth, and others we've had in other galaxies. It's just what happens here.
Hmm.
And also, with Uranus retrograde in Taurus, it's going to give us that push and pull feeling of letting go of the old and going in with the new. And it's a push pull feeling that's going to last for a while. I mean, it's going to last for a while. And it also make us feel insecure during this retrograde,
Mhm.
especially around material items and food items. And
Hmm.
we're going into a place of we really don't know what to expect in the
Yeah.
next few months with, are we going to have an election? Are we not going to have an election? I don't think we are actually. I
Wow.
think it's
I
going to
love
be a
that
very
idea
intense
of
time.
the drive up, uh, polling. Have you heard about this?
I haven't heard about it. What is it?
Yeah. I think Kamala,
Hmm.
she has, proposed an idea for drive up,
It's a
ballot.
great idea.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea
I
too.
actually do a drive up ballot here
Oh,
where I
there you
live in
go.
this small town. They're very
Yeah.
hip in this small town. Go
There you
figure.
go. Yeah.
But
Because
we've
if
been
you
doing
can't
drive
do
up.
mail, you might as well do drive up. So,
I did the drive up, handed it to her. It's just great.
that's pretty cool.
There's
Yeah.
only 200 of us in this town, but
That's
here
why
you
you should do
go.
it. Right.
It was the easiest thing I had ever done,
Oh, I
actually.
bet.
Another thing I do want to talk about before we go into some of the questions is there's another situation coming up that I do want to discuss, and this is called Gandanta. Now, the Gandanta
Mm.
is a Vedic term in Vedic astrology, and it means drowning. It means drowning. It means around water. It means possibly that you can't grasp onto something like your emotions. You might feel like you're trying to grasp onto something. In its real native term, it means to drown.
Uh-huh.
But what it happens, a Gandanta planet is when it occurs at the last degree of a water sign. And right now, in Vedic astrology, we have Mars at 29 degrees in Pisces. That is considered Gandanta. And we know Mars is rough. It's a war, it's energy, it's total energy. And we're going into hurricane season. So, this time period, I'm going to give you the days August 14th, 15th, and 16th are that's when Mars is Gandanta. It means this. I don't think I'd be swimming. I don't think I'd be in the water. It could be a big flood. It could be a big hurricane. It depends on where it is in your chart. People
Tsunami.
who have actually drowned, I would assume that they would have Gandanta in their chart. So
Wow.
just watch it. I even said to James, don't go in your pool for those 3 days. I mean, I
Yeah.
know it's summer. I know it's hot. I know I get it. I just think it's a very serious time that August 14th, 15th, and 16th. Okay. We're going
Wow.
to have this occurrence 3 times this year, but this is the first August 14th, 15th, and 16th. And then after that, October 5th, 6th, and 7th. And after that, December 22nd to the 25th. And so during this period, particularly this one that we're coming up with, it could bring big, big, big earthquakes. I mean, not earthquakes, floods and hurricanes. We had a really weird thing happen on Monday here, and in Wisconsin, but it happened in Iowa and Illinois, where they called it what was it? A, it was like a mini hurricane, but there was a term for it. It's an inland hurricane, like I forget what it's called.
Not typhoon.
No, like
I don't know.
Duratio or Duraco, or I don't know,
Wow.
had an oddball name. And we had it here. It was
Hmm.
really alarming. It took off a lot of trees and it took out power for days for people. Not us, we were good, but took off a few things
Is
around the
it
house.
Derecho?
Yeah, how do you say
Derecho
that?
wind?
Yeah, but there's another word.
This is
Yes,
what
that's it.
Kim is
Yeah,
saying.
that's it, Kim. That's it. Did you have it too? It was wild. Never. I'm
Never heard
from
of it
LA.
before.
We thought we were having a tornado, but we had this thing instead.
Never heard of it.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was
Hmm.
gonna talk to you and James, and then
Yeah,
kaboom! I had to
I
run.
know. You're down in the cellar.
I was down in the cellar. Yeah, not drinking. So it
That's
was
a
something.
running joke. Yeah.
Our running joke.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's it for the astrology for now. There's tons of stuff going on, and we'll cover more on Monday
And
night.
please let me know more about that so I can post it in the group as because people are asking for those exact dates and
Okay,
more about the Gandanta or whatever, however
I
you
will.
say it.
I will. I can spell it for you. It's
Yeah.
Ghandanta, Gandanta.
Okay, good to
And
know.
it's August 14th, 15th, and 16th. And I would just say be very mindful if you're going to be out in water. I don't think it's a good
Hmm,
idea.
got it.
I
Okay.
just don't think it's serious. So,
All right.
anyway, because we've
So
got some
Kim says
serious
that was
times.
Latin for straight line wind. So there you go.
Wow, Kim, I appreciate you. Appreciate that. It was some.
Mel's saying the same thing. Yeah.
Wow, everybody knows about
Mhm.
this. How do you pronounce it? Can somebody tell me how to pronounce it?
Direct,
It was.
direct,
No,
Directo?
there's somebody told me today it has a different
Hmm.
derecho or Duraco.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's
Maybe. Well, when they
ask me
call in,
anything
they can
about
give us
that.
the pronunciation
Yes,
when they call in.
that would
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah.
So, should we start with some traits around the Pleiades and that, or should we go into Ask Me Anything?
Yeah, in fact, I'm going to post the link in our group for those who are interested in coming on camera and asking your question rather than calling in.
Okay.
That option is there, but it's only available to group members, so make sure you get into the group.
Okay. Well,
Um,
we can start with, excuse me,
yeah,
we can start with, because I've got somebody wrote some people wrote some really good questions, and so I thought I would
great.
answer them. So somebody named Gwendolyn Siebert Lucursi. So that is a name, Gwendolyn. She says, "Good
Yeah.
morning, Kellee. When a person passes, what is the time length they will talk to you? I have hoped to hear from my niece and aunt." So this is a great question. So here's how I'm going to answer it. They can start immediately. You can start talking to them and they're going to want to, especially like right away, they're going to want to probably say, "Oh no, do this, don't do that. Oh my God, I'm sorry." They're going to want to say something. What I prefer is at least a month as a medium. I think it's better that way.
Hmm.
I think it gives them time to even possibly acknowledge that they've passed, or it gives time for the person who's had the loss to get them some uh I don't know, groundedness in it, because when you've had a loss, I mean, I know when I lost my mother 2 years ago, I didn't people were trying to give me readings and I'm like, I don't want any. Just wanted to be left alone. I didn't want anything, and I didn't even hear from my mom because I was in too much shock and grief myself. Took me a good 2 years to get through all of that. Oh, it's only been 2 years. So now I'm on the other side of that grief, thank God. It was hard to bear. Well, John, I mean,
I
with you
know
it's
all
only
about
been
it.
just what, 6,
Yeah.
8 months? 9 months?
Yeah, it was December. So,
Yeah, 9, 10 months.
hmm,
Yeah. And at first it's a lot. So I would say you could start talking immediately, but I would not go to a medium that would say, let's start doing that now. Actually prefer 6 months, but a month, I could do a month. So I hope that answers your question.
yeah,
So then Melissa, if I'm going to say her last name right, Calcitri,
not
I
sure.
hope that's true.
Yeah.
She says, if you don't mind, I have a question for you, and that is how to say goodbye to somebody that you cannot say goodbye to. Now, I'm assuming that means, I'm going to assume that you mean say goodbye to somebody that is passing away and you don't want them to. That's a really hard one, Melissa. It's really hard. It's bone crushing hard. I mean,
Mm.
I knew my mother was dying, and John, you knew your mother was going.
Yeah, I did.
And it's to let go of somebody is so painfully
Yeah.
hard. And you have to take a real spiritual approach, honey. I mean, a spiritual approach is really hard to do because you're having a human experience of loss. Now, there's no such thing as death. The body dies, but the soul goes on. It's easier said than done. I've done it. It's really hard. I always wish that I could have one more minute, or just one more anything with that person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really hard. It takes it's just very hard. So it's a really good question. Really hard to say goodbye. Really hard. And I've worked with somebody today I had worked with two people today that had sudden loss where their husbands had massive heart attacks. And you don't get a time. You don't know when the time
Yeah,
is
you
up.
don't.
So
I know.
you have to really be present in the moment with somebody. Tell them that you love them. Always honor them. Be the
Yeah.
best soul that you can be because you actually don't know. And that for me was the two hard readings today. I mean, they were really good readings, but it was tough because they didn't have the kind of closure that
Mm-hmm.
sometimes if somebody's ill and lingering illness, you can get that closure.
Yeah.
But when there's a
I
sudden, there
because
you
we did a
can't.
show when mom was, about to pass about
That's
anticipatory
right.
grief.
Anticipatory grief, John. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right. Thank you.
that was
Oh, I
in
think I
December.
wrote a blog on it.
You sure did.
I did because
Yeah.
and in my case, and in your case too, I think, John, my mother was ill for years.
Yeah.
And that anticipatory
Yeah.
grief, as you get closer and closer,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, oh my God, it was
Mm-hmm.
really hard. So, the really good question.
Yeah.
Life in this dimension is not easy.
Yeah. That's
It's
why I
not easy.
really love it when people who work in hospice,
Hmm.
study to become a death doula or
Yes.
are really there to provide the comfort. Because I was talking to Katrin about this actually earlier, about the importance of knowing that when people are in hospice and we look
Yeah.
at them hanging on and we're like, why are they, why are they like in their skin and bones, and I mean, it's
Hmm.
the hardest thing to watch, to see them waste away like that. But then you have to realize that they're not always in their body, that they are preparing, for their transition, and they're not always present in the body. They're
Yeah.
connected to the body, but they're not completely present there. And so it
Mhm.
it
Well,
helps.
it
It helps.
also that happens because
Yeah.
you're to give the person that's remaining some more time, or
Hmm.
you're teaching that person is learning patience, or
Yeah.
that person is learning how to give, or provide love, or something along that period of time. It's actually an extremely important
It
part of
is.
time. That last period is extremely
Yeah.
important, and you can't rush that along.
No.
You know,
And then you
they're
hope for the
happening for a
rally, which
reason.
we've
Yeah.
talked about. The rally
Yep.
is like when they come, like they get all their senses back, and
Yep.
if they're in a coma state, they come like completely to life, and you
Yep.
just like, as if they're not. I mean, it's amazing, and
Yeah.
everyone hopes for that moment so they can get closure before they
Yeah.
completely go.
Well,
And
it was so funny. It wasn't funny. I guess I could say it now, but when my mother was
yeah,
in very, very, I mean, dying, literally
yeah,
dying, all of a sudden she rallied and said she wanted some hot tea. So I was really sick at the time, and I was actually had left my mom's side to go home because I was so sick. I was afraid that she'd catch something that I had. It wasn't COVID.
uh-huh,
It was long 2 years before
sure,
COVID. And I'll never forget. I take all this sleeping medicine and all this stuff because I'm so sick. And I get the phone call. You need to get here now. And I'm like, but
wow,
she was just eating and drinking tea. What are you talking about? And I'm going to tell you, even though I had taken gobs of whatever kind of cold stuff you take when you have that and
yeah,
flu stuff,
hmm,
I somehow barreled through that as if I
adrenaline,
hadn't taken it.
hmm,
That adrenaline.
yep,
Thank God Don got in that car and off we went. And then my mom died.
yes,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, that was something.
I thought she rallied and wanted a
She
burger or
did.
something too.
Oh, no, that was a week before.
Oh, that was
Yeah, McDonald's. Yeah.
yeah.
My
Of
mom, who
all
never
yeah,
had McDonald's in her life, she's like,
yeah.
I want 3 Big Macs. And I go, three
Wow.
Big Macs? What?
She
And
needed
then
that extra protein or energy to
no,
to to
she
cross
didn't even
over.
have 3 bites, but in her mind, she wanted 3 Big Macs. And then I go,
Wow.
and fries? She goes, no fries. And I go, let me get this straight. You want me to go to McDonald's? I go, you want a shake? She goes, yes. So she wanted a vanilla shake and
Wow.
3 Big Macs. So I called Don and I go, poor Don. I go, I've never had this bizarre
Y
situation in my life.
yeah.
And I'm in West Hollywood. What do I do? He goes, I go, should I get her 3 Big Macs? He goes, nah, just get her little burger. She'll be lucky if she eats a little bit of that. So I
Mhm.
didn't know if she would remember or not. So I got her fries anyway because I really got them for me.
Oh,
And so she was like, "Oh, I want the fries," and she had like one bite of a little burger, and that was the end of that.
wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's some funny. You could tell some funny stories along these periods. As sad as it is,
Yeah.
again, I promise you, there will be a time when you can laugh again.
Yeah. We're
And I
laughing
know my
now,
mom
which
is laughing at
it's
this now. Just the
yeah.
hamburger story is funny.
But, ooh, when you're in that grief, and that grief
It's
is
terrible.
not a linear process, so
No, it's not.
it's all over the map.
It's all over
Yeah.
the map. Oh my gosh. So Debbie Foster Haran says, "What's the best way to find out who our spirit guides are so we know which ones we can hone in on?" Well, here's what you do. This is the greatest thing of all. Before you go to bed, you just say, "Spirit guides, I'd love to see you. Spirit guides, come to me, tell me your name." And
Mhm.
often what will happen is if you move your left brain far enough away, you'll hear a name. It might be Frank, Joe, John. It could be anybody's. It could be
Mhm.
they don't really care because their names are often so highly evolved that you don't know what they are anyway. And they don't care. And then ask them, but if you don't get it the first time, ask every night. Ask every night or if you can't do it in the evening before you go to bed, do it when you're meditating. It's a great way to meditate and you can feel the energy come to you.
Mhm.
They're very loving. Guides are very loving and they want to connect with us, particularly during this period of time that's
Yeah.
so difficult. This is a very tough time that we're in right now and they are here for us. And
Mhm.
often, as I said, everybody has one spirit guide minimum. But now I'm seeing a lot more around people than just that.
Mm.
I'm seeing groups of people around. If you lost your parents, if you lost a child, if you lost a husband or a mate or anybody, they're often around now and working as guides. I never would have said that before. I didn't believe it until now I
Mm.
started to see it. I see it a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really wild. Oh, I'll tell you another guide. Your animals come in as guides.
Yeah.
Your
Tammy just wrote a
animals,
beautiful blog about animal
she did?
transition. Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tammy. And she knows, I mean,
Mhm.
animals now can be your guides.
Yeah.
I saw this something on Facebook. It was the sweetest thing. And it was a new dog, okay, sitting on a pier
Mhm.
and talking to the dog that had passed and saying,
Mm.
the new dog said, they only talk about you. And she says, don't worry, they'll talk about you too.
Mm.
I mean, it was something like that. It was I was so overcome with emotion when I saw that.
Mhm. Yeah.
I have to find that one. That was a really good one. So, anyway, I hope that answers that, Debbie. So,
Yeah.
Barbie Galagos. I'm finding it hard to clear my mind of thoughts to meditate. Any pointers? Oh, everybody has this issue.
Yeah.
I don't have it anymore because I had a head injury and that kind of knocked that out of me. I just go right to it. But most people have it. Now, what James would say is, and I'll say it too, meditate while how that daydreaming often can
Mhm.
be a form of meditation.
Sure, doing the dishes
Doing
or
the
taking a shower.
dishes,
Mhm.
taking a shower,
Mhm.
going for a walk, being
Yeah.
with holding your animal. If you want to do it the way that people have done this,
Mhm.
one way is to sit in the stillness and do a guided meditation
Right.
or put on some wonderful meditation music. I know
Mhm.
John has a CD. You can not a CD's got a
Yeah,
CD too on
sure
it, but
does.
we could put a link for that too.
Mhm.
He's got a really good meditation CD, and it comes with a YouTube video too. You can have that.
Great.
So to clear your mind, do often you may not be able to clear your mind, and in fact, I thought this was so great. Mary Perotti wrote, Barbie, Thoughts will always be there. Don't fight them. Just let them pass. The key is not to dwell and just to keep your eye on the prize. Sometimes I forget what I'm doing and just say the Lord's Prayer and ask for protection.
Mhm.
Right on, Mary. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I love this. Thanks, Mary. I so appreciate this. She said, also, I count my breathing like 1, 2, 3, and then I inhale 1, 2, 3 and
Mhm.
exhale. That's a good thing to do too. I mean, guided meditations,
Mhm.
but most minds, don't put so much emphasis
Yeah,
on
pressure on yourself.
pressure.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's even more anxiety you don't need while you're trying to
oh,
meditate.
no, you
You're
don't
trying
need
to
any of
meditate to
that.
get rid of the anxiety. You don't need to be creating more of it while you're trying to figure out how to meditate.
No,
So
you
it's
don't.
like
It's I don't want any
yeah,
more anxiety for anybody. I want everybody
exactly,
to be at peace, really.
exactly.
So Tracy Hildreth says, if you have blocks and are not your authentic self, will
Mhm.
your awakening alarm come or only after you clear the blocks? No, it'll come regardless. And I think were you maybe Tracy on the in the starseed
She
thing that we
was.
talked about? Okay,
Mhm.
because when we talked about an alarm for people that
Mhm.
were not on there, often starseeds will have an alarm that just goes off at some time and you don't know what it is. And that alarm, it doesn't matter if there are other blocks. You don't have to worry about
Yeah,
that.
it's your
That
wake up
alarm,
call.
it's a wake up call.
Mhm.
Now, let's say you're not a starseed. You still will have a wake up call. People
Mhm.
are seeing 1111. Those are wake up calls. All of a sudden, you want to read everything you can about spirituality. And when we talk about a wake up call, it's really into this place of deep spirituality.
Yeah.
That we're not alone, that we're souls having a human experience. Our
Mm.
souls are vast, our souls are old, our souls come in to bring light and love, and
Mhm.
then we go back home. So that's
Yeah.
the wake up call, that the mundane world is just that. It's just a mundane physical school that we go to that we call Earth. And it's easy when you're here, it's easy to have a lot of experiences because you're in a body and you feel density and you can feel everything. And when you're
Yeah.
feeling everything, sometimes that's a better way to learn,
Right. Right. And then
sadly.
I heard there's other levels, like
Yeah.
when you transition, there's levels that you
Mhm.
go to, and so it is based on how you level up here as a soul, like
Yeah.
the classes that you're taking, so to speak, and
Yes.
how you progress through those classes, sort of
Yep.
what you inherit on the other side, so to speak. I don't know if
But
it is
that's actually accurate.
okay.
It's actually accurate.
Mm,
You want to keep your vibration up. You want to do
mhm.
good things in the world. People often will say, what's my mission here? Your mission could be simply to be nice, good, and
Sure.
kind.
Just to
That's
be.
just
Mhm.
to be.
Mhm.
I mean, I met this and I talked about this on our star seeds.
Yeah.
It was a cousin of somebody, and I said, what's your mission here? And he said, very, very seriously, to plant trees. I
Mm,
said, "Where are you going to plant trees?" He said, "Everywhere. I'm a
mm.
traveler." And
Yeah.
that's why he came to plant trees. Some
Wow.
people come, to spread love. Some people come to help one another. But you always want to do something good for somebody.
Mhm.
Oh, Tracy says, thanks, Kelly. I had a session with Prajna working on this. Oh, you're gonna have an appointment with me too. Yay, that'll be
Yay.
great. Yeah, we'll work on a lot of this. But I'm glad that you wrote that question because it doesn't matter about the blocks.
Yeah,
Everybody's
Tracy's
gonna have
awesome.
some blocks, so don't worry
Yeah.
about that. And then the last thing I'm gonna read is, and then we'll ask other questions. Lori Clark said, would it make a difference? This is a great question. If I was supposed to be born on June 16th, but my mom had me on April 7th.
Hmm.
Is there any way you could please do a mini reading for me? Well, this is really interesting. So you came in early. I don't know if it's because your mother's insisted. I find that hard to believe because that's a big time
Mhm.
difference. It's a big one.
Yeah.
It's almost close to 2 months, so you would have been a preemie or you would have come in, yeah, I guess a preemie almost. Well,
Hmm.
not preemie, but a little bit. We choose our dates regardless. We
Mhm.
choose our dates. There's no accident there. There's
Yeah.
not. We do everything in our ability to bring in everything that we're going to need when we're born, and that includes our birth, everything, our mother, our father, our time, the date, everything. I don't think that there's a mistake there. I just don't think that that was a mistake. My daughter, interesting enough, was due September 8th, and she was born on October 3rd. I was pregnant for a long
Mm.
time, and my mother was 2 months late for her, when her mother had her, and that she we pick our dates, and April 7th of all days comes in to know one thing: the secrets of the universe. So no wonder you really want to know that. It's a very spiritual date,
Yeah.
very old school, very spiritual. You definitely chose that date. That
Mhm.
is an incredible date, because there are a lot of people that come in on June 16th, and that's more about money and power. This one you chose as a spiritual being. And maybe at the last minute you said, "Whoops, I made a mistake. I don't want to come in on that on June 16th. I meant this." Is it possible? Sure.
Mhm.
And your guides probably went, "Well, okay, we'll get her to the mother to the doctor. We'll have to make this work." That's the way I think. So,
Yeah, it reminds me of that movie, like we've always bring it up, Heart and Souls.
exactly. That a
Yeah,
good movie?
such a great movie.
Such a great
Robert
movie.
Downey Jr. and I've been trying to
Yes.
find that movie so I can have it on digital, but it's hard to
Oh,
find.
is it? Oh
Mhm.
gosh. Well, so I'm not sure if there are any questions out there that you want me to
Oh, yeah,
ask,
we've
but
got a lot and we've got calls coming in too, so let's
oh, okay.
get
So
to
we
the
can do
calls
that,
because
and
we
then
made
I'll
a late
get to the
start, so
Pleiades stuff later.
yeah, so we're gonna go to Kim. Kim from Nashville. Hey, Kim.
Hi, Kim.
Hi, it's Command. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. And by the way, I can tell you, see, we had one of those storms come through here in April, so that's how I know about that. It's
Wow.
it's pronounced derecho.
Duratio. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
And by the way, I
Duratio.
love your purple glads behind you. They make me think of my dad. That was his favorite flower.
The gladiolas?
I, yeah, the glads you have behind
I
you.
love those flowers. It's so funny. I used them for the star seed the other day, and James said, "What
Yeah.
are those? I love those flowers."
Mhm.
I love gladiolas. They were my
Well,
mother's favorite too.
I don't know if you're familiar. There's a verse in the Bible that talks about the lilies of the field, and it's believed that because those used to be called sword lilies, and it's believed that that's the flower they're talking about.
Wow, I didn't know that. Sword lilies. Ooh, I'm going to
Hmm.
write that down.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Boy, you are a wealth of information.
Sure is. And you got the
Oh,
Adventures of the Soul
play
book.
Trivial Pursuit.
Did you see that Adventures of the Soul? It's purple too.
Yep, that's right above my
Oh
head.
yes, yes, I
Yeah.
did see that.
And then
Yeah.
James's book
I
above
was
Kelly's
just
head, The Wisdom of the Guides. That's
yeah, all purple.
yeah. Yeah.
There
I
you
was
go.
just wondering. I was having a conversation with somebody last week, and we were talking about just how crazy this year has been, and it seems like we have noticed a lot of odd things in nature. For just in this area, for instance, we have a bush called crepe myrtle, which normally gets really big is when it gets really hot and nasty, and
Yep.
they bloom like crazy with either purple or pink flowers. The
Hmm.
crepe myrtles in this area are blooming like on half the bush, the bottom half, and not the top. It's hot as hell, and nobody has seen any hummingbirds, which normally we have tons of hummingbirds. I've noticed I normally have, doves picking up bird seed on the ground under the bird feeder. Don't see hardly any doves. You normally see deer like at dusk or early in the morning because they're more nocturnal. I've seen more deer in the middle of the day, like nobody told them that that's not when they're supposed to be out. I live in the suburb area of Nashville. And we do have animals around, but the other day somebody got on their Ring camera, again, in the middle of the afternoon at their front door, a bobcat just hanging out. It seems like nature didn't get the memo. And I'm just wondering,
Wow.
is this all a cosmic thing or what is going
Yeah, I would say it's a cosmic thing. I would
Mhm.
definitely say that due to a lot of planetary movement, a lot of change, a lot of energy from people, a lot of
A lot
toxic
of
energy
yeah.
clearing. And it's funny. I love crepe myrtles. I know exactly what you're talking about. And
on?
where I live, we have, and I just moved to a farm in Wisconsin, and we have tons of doves on the ground eating the bird seed. So maybe they all came to Wisconsin. Maybe they left Nashville, and they said, we've had
Did you
it.
get our hummingbirds too?
We have tons of hummingbirds now.
Wow.
I've never seen so many birds. So maybe things are getting shifted and aligned, shifted.
Mhm.
Maybe is there pollution in your
Uh,
area? I mean, I don't. I'm just asking. I
no,
don't know. No.
Did they put up any
I
cell
can't wait to say that.
towers?
Oh, John,
That's
maybe.
another
No,
thing.
no new cell. But that is a good question. But no new cell towers.
Okay, good to
Well,
know.
and then Bobcat.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I think that just as energy is shifting and moving, pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to that.
And
Keep
and
a
I
journal of it.
it isn't that unusual. People get excited if they live in a city and they see a coyote or a bobcat, and they're actually pretty adaptable animals. So
Mhm.
if you have a park, or something, it's not that unusual. But it is kind of odd that it would decide to walk down the street and go up to somebody's front door and sit there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay,
That's
that's really, really unusual. We
Mm-hmm.
had when I lived in LA last year, we moved. The year before, we had an influx of coyotes, and they would come during the day, and there is nothing kind of takes your breath away as you see tons of coyotes going through your backyard, through your front yard, and
Wow.
to the point where it was like a war. We had to all be very careful. You couldn't go out for a walk. You couldn't certainly let your dogs out, but we had
Wow.
a water shortage. So is there, and if I saw a bobcat just
Oh,
sitting in my front, I'd have a heart attack. That'd be the end of me.
Mm.
That would really scare me.
they're bigger than you think they are when you see
I
them.
can imagine because
Mm.
they can lunge and go fast and oh God, that's a strange story, but I think it has everything to do with the planets. The energy right now is intense. So
Yeah, all the
great call.
cycles
Thank you
are
for
just off.
asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I guess
boy.
that answers it. Thank you.
Yo,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well,
Thanks
thank
for
you for
calling.
calling in. I love all that you brought to us in that
Yeah,
short period of time. So thank you,
it's
Kim.
perfect.
No
And appreciate
problem.
it.
Have a good day.
You
All
too.
right.
Kim
Bye.
Ann,
Kim is
thank
in.
you. All
Wow.
right, so we're going to, I think it's the first time caller, actually, area code 317. I'm not sure where this is. Can you tell us where you're calling from and your name, please?
Hi, this is Danica, and I am from Greenwood, Indiana, just south of Indianapolis.
Oh my
Wonderful.
gosh. And you know what? My family was from
Hello.
Brown County.
Oh, yes. My mother and father-in-law just moved from their beautiful area.
It's a beautiful area, and both my parents went to Indiana University.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah, my sister
beautiful
goes there
area.
right now.
Wow. Well, how can we help you, Danica?
Well, I was calling because right now I am currently in school working on my master's for metaphysics, but I am still very on the human level. I am a mother of 9 kids,
Wow.
so I am very, very busy. But my question is, I was told recently that by a psychic, that a pretty well-known psychic, that I was being too spiritual. And I was just kind of confused because I'm not sure what that means. I'm working really hard to passionately find out
So tell me
what to
something.
do,
I can't even imagine
with
who would
my
say that.
profession,
Well,
and I want to help people, but
that's okay.
kind of
So
lost.
first of
I
all,
don't know what that means. It kind of knocks me on my booty.
okay, well, we're gonna repair that. I'm not sure who that was, but cross that person off your list. Um, that's just the damnedest thing I ever heard. What is your birth date?
April 28th of 85.
And you had 9 kids, and you're like 34?
My older 4 are adopted, and my younger 5 I had biological, but in my heart, they all 9 come
So,
from me.
God, good for you. So,
So
first
can
of
you
all,
pull
let
up
me
your
say
mic a little
this.
bit?
Me? Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Let me pull up my mic.
There we go.
Okay, so you are a 6 of clubs. 6 of clubs comes in as one of the most psychic birth placements that there is. So you do come in to be a psychic. Often they question their ability. So for somebody to say that to you would have questioned it, and then it could have prevented you. So I'm glad you got through, and I'm glad you're calling. You come in to do spiritual work. Here's the other thing. You come in to know and speak the truth, whatever your truth is. That's going to be very important. And here's another thing. You come in to bring light into the world. And you have 9 kids to help you with that, bringing light to them and
Mm.
bringing light to the world. You are going, and you were born in 1984. Is that right?
85.
Oh, 85. Okay. Okay. Let me just see something. 4, 5. 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you're a 10, if I have that right. Hold on a minute. And a 10 comes in to learn everything they can about themselves and to help others. So you don't
Yes.
let anybody say that. at all to you. My goodness, you could be one of the world's greatest psychics, frankly. And I'm grateful that you're getting a master's in metaphysics. It helps to legitimize
Yeah, I'm
this
actually enrolled
work.
in the doctoral program for conscious centered living. So
Wait,
I am
where's that?
I'm working up there. I want to gain as much knowledge as I
Yeah,
can, but I
you
also
will.
just, it's like, what do I do to help people? But, I think he said, you're being too spiritual because you're not, doing your own thing. But honestly, helping people is my thing. That's
Yeah,
what
I don't know that it's just the dumbass thing I ever heard. So I would just blow. I don't know what
Thank
you
you
paid
so
him, but
much.
that's just
I was
nuttiest
so
thing.
shocked, and
I
I questioned everything.
okay, that's just dumbass. No,
Yeah.
that's just not accurate. Where do
I
you
mean,
go to
I've
school?
heard. Okay, go ahead.
I'd love to know the
Yeah.
school.
The school that you're from, hon.
I am going right now, University of Metaphysics, but my PhD will be from the University of Sedona.
I didn't even know there was such a thing. I think I
Is
love
that
to
an
hear
online
that.
school?
They're so wonderful. Yeah, it's online, but I am learning so
I
much.
bet you are.
So
And
much.
always learn.
It is
You come
touching
in to
my heart,
learn.
and I'm sharing with everybody who wants to listen. I don't push it upon anybody, but I feel like everything I'm learning, I lost my grandma a year ago, and she was like my mom. We were so close, and it just rocked my world. But metaphysics and learning this whole different, reality truth that I didn't know.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for you. And your grandmother,
my older
your
children because of it.
your grandmother will be a guide for you. So listen, you're just doing great. You're doing great works. You keep going. You keep going and showing everybody what you're learning, okay? And call back and keep us posted. I'm really proud of you. Don't let that idiot say something. I mean, that's just the dumbest thing. I'm going to be thinking about that all night going, I can't believe people say such dumbass things. Really, that just
Thank
doesn't
you
make
so much.
sense
Thank you
and
for
not
what
accurate.
you're doing. You're touching so many lives.
Oh, thank you. Well, you will too. You will too. Thanks so much for calling, Danica. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thanks
keep
so
in
much
touch
for
with
having
us. And
me.
if you're
Yeah.
not in the group already, Danica, get in the group because we all could
Mhm.
value for having you in there. Okay? Do you know how to get in
Absolutely.
there?
Thank you. I don't. Tell me.
Okay, so let me just go over it really quick, even for the new listeners. So we have a Both Sides Now TV community group, and it's great support and it's free. You can see it scrolling across the screen. What you do is you go to our Both Sides Now TV Facebook page, and then you click on Visit Group. And then when you do that, it'll submit a form to me, and then I'll get you in the group. And we do meetups. And in fact, we'll be doing a meetup tonight after the show where we can get together with the community and just hold space for one another and just see how our week's going.
It's a great community. You'll love it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
So we'd love to have you on
I
there.
will do
It's
that.
via
Thank
Zoom.
you so much.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Take care.
Wow.
You
All
too.
right.
Bye.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
But why do people say stuff
I
like that?
don't know unless he sensed that she was going to be competition. You know how those egos can be, and makes you wonder.
Yeah,
But then,
maybe.
I've also heard James say, "Don't be too spiritual to the point where you're no earthly good." But I don't
Oh,
know.
she's very grounded. This gal's
Yeah,
very grounded,
yeah,
and not only that,
yeah.
birth placement is all about being grounded.
Right, and you just
Oh,
pointed that out. So, and
come on.
and that she's here to be a super psychic.
Yeah,
So,
it's super psychic.
yeah.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, really. Well, that's why she was put in touch with you tonight. Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So let's see. Let's go to is this another first time caller, it looks like.
Yay.
Yeah. So Tampa, Florida. We're going to Tampa, Florida now. 813. Hi. Is this Kara?
Hi. Yes. Can you hear me okay?
Hi,
We do.
Kara. How
Good
can
to-
we help you, Kara?
I'm hearing a little echo, so I apologize if it's coming through on your end.
Nope. We hear it fine.
Okay. Okay. Let me just make sure I'm getting. Yeah. Okay. So my question is, I'll just get right to it. My grandmother passed away maybe about 2 years ago or so. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, listening to every word.
Okay. Still coming through. About 2 or 3 years ago, my grandmother I was not close to at all. She was really mean, let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
And time went by, and my family members, I was thinking, why did she come to me of all people to say that she didn't say much, but it was just a really freaky experience. So maybe I was
asking if you could help me with a little more insight to this.
Sure. So are you saying that she came to you in a dream or did she just show up? Tell me how that worked for
Well,
you.
the funny thing is, it was like I was asleep but wasn't asleep.
Yeah, lucid,
I'm trying
lucid.
to put this to words. But
Okay. No, you did
very
great,
strange.
honey. You did great.
And
So that's a lucid experience when you're asleep, but then they come
okay,
to you. That's called a lucid dream or a lucid experience. And often
okay,
somebody on the other side will come through to somebody that is somewhat open. And whether she was mean, not mean, she probably wanted to let you know that she is there and she may have been sorry for some of her behavior. So that does happen. I had a real mean
okay.
grandmother. I had a really loving one and a really mean one. And one day my mean
Yes,
one
that's
came to
my
me.
yes.
Yeah, no, I know. And one day she came
Same
to me.
thing.
Do you know what she told me? It was the weirdest thing. She told me that she was, and I told my mom this. It was unbelievable. She was so mean to me and she was mean to my mom. She was just mean. And she said that she was studying to be a psychologist, or she was studying psychology on the other side because we do study all kinds of things. So I told my mom, I said, Mom, Grandma came to me. She said, which grandma? And I told her, she said, what'd she want? She's studying psychology.
Yeah.
And my mother said, thank God, maybe she's learning something. And I knew then that the soul could learn and grow and change. So I suspect your grandmother is coming around to you. I know she is. So you were the one that's psychic. You're the one that's got some abilities here, and that she could come through because you may not have shut the door on her like some people may have done. You know. So
Okay.
I would say that's a
Had to
good
ask. And
sign.
what
It's a good sign. What's your birth date? It's a good sign.
I'm June 22nd, 1973.
Oh, wow. Okay. So June 22nd. So your brain, your 8 of clubs, you have to know. Not only that, but your birth date was between these two eclipses that we had this year. So this should be a very powerful time for you to get really into
Oh,
spirituality and psychic ability because you've got it in spades also. Okay? That's why
well,
she came to you.
that is okay. Yeah, I thought so. Something was a little bit different, but I always tried to shut the door and push it away because
No. No.
in my younger years, growing up and experiencing that. So as I grew and got older, I just thought I could shut the door, not have those experiences, push it away.
Yeah. No.
But things every once in a while like that happen, and I'm thinking, how did I let that slip in? You know?
Yeah, no, you can't shut this out. Good try, but not going to happen. Yeah. Good try though. I know
Okay.
I tried it for a long time. Didn't
Well,
work.
okay.
Just go
and
with it.
I
Learn
wanted
everything
also
you
let
can.
Yeah,
Okay?
when I was asking her about the other side, are they able to tell us? Because she wouldn't. She wouldn't
Well,
say
it's not that she
anything about
wouldn't, but
anything.
what happens is they really often don't talk actually because it's a telepathic thing.
Yes.
And so sometimes people will say,
Yeah,
"Well, I saw my father
right.
and he didn't say anything." And I said, "That's right. That's how it works." Sometimes they'll say
Okay.
something, but often, more than often, they don't. They just kind of stare. And then
Yeah,
you
that's
you
what she was.
maybe,
She was scared.
yeah.
But then the funny thing is, she was about to go and jump into whatever she was jumping into. It was strange. And I said, "Aren't you going to say hello to Barbara, which is my mom's name?" And she said, but she did say something. She said, "What Barbara?" But like I heard it. It's very strange. And because I had forgotten there's more than one Barbara in the family. And then she just she left. And so she did say something. So I just been
Okay,
questioning if that was
that's
really,
normal.
did I
That's
hear her say that?
Yeah, you did
Okay.
hear her say that. You know, give them a break there and give yourself a break. They're doing the best they can when they come through. You know. And you were
Okay.
asleep, and they're trying to let you know some certain thing. I'm thrilled she showed up. I'm thrilled. That means I'd keep the door
Yeah,
open.
I
Keep it
just
open.
thought it was a little strange of all the people in the family, me, because I knew she didn't like me very much, and I didn't like her. But like you said, I guess we don't. If we're open to it, they come to the person that's more open.
That's correct. That is correct.
Okay.
If I didn't have the experience myself, I wouldn't know how to lead you on this one, but that is correct. My grandmother was mean. She came to me, and I'm like,
Ah, yes.
what? You don't even like me. Like, what's going on here? But you know
Right,
what? And she's come
right.
about 3 times
Well,
since.
I'm glad. Well, I'm glad you cleared that up for me a little
Good.
bit, because
Oh,
I
good.
thought they would only come to the ones that were more,
No.
maybe they thought more fondly of.
Oh,
And
no. No, it's
like,
whoever
why?
can open the door for them. It's opening the door for them.
Okay,
Okay. Well, thanks for
okay.
calling.
Well, thank you. Appreciate your
You bet.
time.
Oh,
Kelly.
you bet.
Thanks,
It's a
Kara.
good,
Take
Bye-bye.
it's
care.
a good question though, wasn't it,
Yeah,
John? Yeah,
yeah,
but you don't
definitely.
have to, they don't have to like you. You don't have to like them. It's honestly whoever has that ability, whoever has that psychic gift. And everybody has it, but whoever's using it.
Yeah, and keep in mind that when they get over there, they're learning about what they did to you and how you
That's
responded
right.
and all of that. So at least from the life review process. So
Oh, yes.
they usually have some remorse, I would think,
Sometimes.
and try to
Hmm.
apologize
Yep.
and come through a medium or someone who is a mediumistic
Hmm.
person and to relay the message either in your dreams or through your,
That's right.
your abilities. So yeah.
You're absolutely right,
I
John. That's
remember
exactly
my
how it works.
stepdad came pounding on your door the day before my reading with
Oh,
you, and you
that was
remember
bizarre.
that one?
I do remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and of all people, that was the last person I wanted to speak to.
And I didn't
But
know you at all for you
no,
to know the names of this person or anything that had gone on.
exactly.
But they will often, if somebody has an appointment with a medium,
Mhm,
whether it's me or anybody, the souls already know. They know
mhm.
that, okay, at this time we're going to be there for that person. That's
Yeah,
why you don't have to say, James always says you don't have to say, come to me, come to me. They're going to be there. They're going to
yeah,
be there.
yeah.
You're going to do their best to be there. So don't ever worry about that.
Right. Well, we're
It takes too
about
much energy.
6 minutes past 3 Pacific time here, so Kel,
Okay.
let me know what your energy is like because I have 5 callers on hold
I've
and we've
got,
got
all
several
right.
comments coming in.
Well, I can stay till 5:15 my time, 3:15 your time, because then
Okay.
I actually have a session with somebody.
Okay, so then let's do lottery style with calls then.
Okay.
So let's
Sorry.
do we have 5 calls on hold, so go give me a number from 1 to 5.
3.
Number 3. All right, we're going to
3.
looks like Antioch, California. So Jan, I believe this is. So Jan, I need you to go ahead and mute your listening device, listen through the telephone only, and I will put you on the air with us. You're going live in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Jan.
How are you, Jan?
Hi, Kelly. It's Jan.
Hi, Jan. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm good. So, I just have a quick question for you. My daughter, after 8 years ago, she had a massive brain tumor, and it came back.
Huh.
Her surgery's next Friday at Stanford, and
Wow.
I feel pretty good about it. But all of a sudden, all this trauma is just jumping into her past.
What is her birth date? Jan, what's her birth date?
Her birthday is 4/22/1978.
So how old is she exactly?
She's 42.
Okay, so it's interesting that it's a brain tumor. Is that right?
Well,
Okay.
a brain tumor, a kidney tumor, and a tumor in her stomach.
So she's a queen of clubs. They come in with an overactive brain and constant worries of health issues. And I will say this about them.
Yes.
They always get through it. And this is really anything in the brain is to wake them up, to bring light to them. So when she goes to have the surgery and before, you start literally talking to her about the light that's going to pour in when she has that surgery, because that's what will happen. And next week will be fine. It's fine.
Okay.
Fine time for that.
Okay.
Please don't worry.
No.
Send her a lot of light and tell
Yeah.
her that I want her to imagine all the light that's pouring in, because that's what happens in brain surgery. I had a traumatic brain injury. So this is where the light pours in. She'll probably become more psychic than she already is. Tell her not to worry. I know anxiety is naturally born in with her. It's because she's got we call this the mother of intuition, and she will have, and kidneys are, if there's a kidney problem, I think you said kidney, that has everything to do with fear.
Yes.
So tell her not to have any fear. It's all about fear. She needs a session with Prajna. That would really, if she could get in to see Prajna
I was trying to set it
before,
up.
if you can write to Prajna, tell her, and I can send her
I will.
a link too. What is your daughter's name?
It's Rochelle.
Rochelle.
Lemoyne.
All right. Okay, I'll just tell her, see if she could get Rochelle in
Yeah,
as soon as
tell her that.
possible.
Yeah, I've already had one session with her, so I'll definitely set her up with a.
Do it as soon as you can because I know Prajna is swamped beyond. But if she could
Okay.
do this, it would really be helpful, I think.
Yeah, and post something in the group, Jan, and we will
Yeah, let
send
us know.
healing energy and all of that,
I
to
love
support
it.
her. Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. She'll be okay. She'll be okay.
Yeah.
And that's I mean, kind of what I've feeling into it,
Well, you're being
Yeah.
strong for
In
her,
my-
and she
Of
needs
course.
that. So
I am.
yeah,
That's my
Yeah.
job.
yeah.
It's your
No.
job, mother's job, constantly. Thanks for calling,
Okay.
Jan.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Prajna is
Okay.
a miracle worker, so I will
That
make
she
that
is.
contact.
Yeah,
That's the
well, join
truth.
us in the
Okay.
after if you can. We'll be opening up the Zoom
I will.
call. Okay. All right. Thank you. Take
Okay.
care.
See you guys there.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Wow. Yeah. That's a
How
lot.
about
True.
it's a lot, I know. How about number 2?
Number 2, that would be
Number 2, and then I have to
I think
make
that's
sure.
Barbie. 815 from Illinois. Is that correct? Okay, so just to let people know, when you call in, the show will be live. There won't be a delay. You'll be directly connected to us. When we call out your name, please go ahead and mute the listening device. Listen through the telephone. That way we don't get some feedback, because otherwise it'll take a minute or so for it to get out to the air for you. But if you're listening through the phone, you'll be directly connected to us. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute now, Barbie. In 3, 2, 1, you should be live with us.
Hi, Barbie.
Hi there.
Hi there. How can we help you? I can. Yes.
Okay. Question. I've talked with you and James at one of his spiritual readings one Friday night.
Great.
About my son. I lost my son in February in a tragic accident, and I had probably about 2 weeks or 2 months ago, I went to a medium, and she did a reading, and she said that he did what he was supposed to do. So is there a way I can find out what he was supposed to do, and how did he complete it by the age of 27?
Well, 27 is interesting enough, an ending. It's a 9. I think what she was saying to you was that his life here was to be a small amount of time, that he had completed his mission. Now, I'm not sure if that's what she meant, but I have a feeling that's what she meant when she said this. As a mother, he's only been gone just a few months. And really, what I'm getting from him is that there was a lot of heartache with you with this, of course, but that it's, he's telling me it's like rest in peace. He's right. He's at peace. I don't know if this means anything to you, but he's peaceful right now. He's in peace. I believe what she said is that it was his time. I know nobody would want to hear that. I don't. What's May have to do with anything? The month of May?
The month of May. His brother's birthday is in May.
Something about the month of May. I don't know if you guys did something special for him or something during that time. Something about the month of May here with him. I don't know why I'm hearing that, but I think with him that this really was his time. I don't believe that there's such a thing as an accident. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. And I think with him that it was his time. As hard as that is for you to accept it, or it would be impossible for me to accept it. So I can imagine for you it would be very tough.
And
But
I mean, he just bought himself his first home in November. Had a great job, and finally got a girlfriend, and she had a couple kids, and it was all just going so good.
But it does sound like his soul that would have been enough, that his soul just, it was his time. And sometimes we plan a small amount of time here, that it's all they need here. And it's really a hard concept to get. It's impossible if you're a mother. It's impossible, but I know he does it. I want to tell you that he's in a good place, okay? I want to say that to you, okay?
He in May he was going to go fishing with his dad on a week-long fishing trip. I do know that.
I don't know if this was his
Now-
time to be here during this COVID time either. A lot of souls have left suddenly because of that.
Yeah, honestly, you made that comment before when I talked with you and James, and I thought about it and I said, yeah, because he would drive me nuts because he would still be out going and playing volleyball 3 times a week and
Ugh,
still socializing with
yeah.
he was.
But this
So
is
he
why
would
a lot
drive
of
me
souls
nuts
are
because-
leaving now because of that. Because they don't want to be constricted. And also, here's the other thing. We're going to go through a lot of stuff. This is a lot of things happening. He'll be one of your guides. I really get from him not to worry that he, by the way, it sounds like you've seen him before, like he's come through before to you in dreams.
See, I don't remember my dreams. He's come through to his dad, my
Okay.
husband.
Just
Um,
it's hard when you're
I don't-
you're in grief. You're in total grief. How would you not be? You're in grief. Just if you can, send him a lot of love. This is really important. Send him a lot of love, and he's sending you a lot of love back. That's really key during this period, okay? And take care of yourself.
okay.
You've been through a lot. You've been through a lot. Okay?
Yeah. What was I going to say? He was born October 11th, and I was born November 10th. Is there a meaning, any kind of meaning behind that?
Yeah, huge.
Or no?
You're November 10th?
Yeah.
You are November 10th.
Yeah.
All right, so you're a 10 of clubs, and he was a jack of clubs. And those are 2 peas in a pod. It's a huge connection. Huge connection. That's why you would feel the loss more too. Here's the other thing. As a jack of clubs, they have to have their own life. They do their own thing. Nobody's going to tell them to do anything, especially a male jack.
Yeah.
And often they act in a younger way, and you would have never been able to contain his energy. Never. And he will come through he just showed me a bunch of birds. So, I mean, like a flock of them. So he'll be showing you a lot of birds, flocks of them. You wait. Okay? And unfortunately, we have to go, but thank you for calling.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Thanks
you very much.
Thank you. That's a tough one.
Yeah, Barbie. Thank you.
God bless her. That's a tough one.
It is.
But I think we'll be doing more of these next week. We'll do another one. How's that? Ask me anything.
Yeah.
We'll do another one.
Yeah, let's do another.
And we'll do next week. I'll go over some of the traits of the Pleiades, Arcturus, Sirius, and Orion.
All right, and let's talk about what we have coming up. I know we've got a big event coming up. And it's called Bad Moms, which is really
Bad Mom.
Sensational title.
It is. I know some people don't like it, but listen, there's some bad mothers out there. There's some really great ones.
Yeah.
We're not doing a show called Great Mothers. We're doing a show called Bad Mothers.
Yeah, so it's going to be coming up here really soon, and looking forward to everybody. I posted it in our group.
It's going to be great.
You can get tickets at bothsidesnowtv.com.
And James is going to do at the end. He's going to come up at the end, and he wants to do a forgiveness piece meditation. So it's going to be great. It's going to be super. We're going to talk about attachment with mothers. We're going to talk about borderline personalities with mothers, alcoholics, drugs, you name it. Anything that would have caused you great problems with attachment. And what happens is it traumatizes you, for it could be for life. I mean, so we're going to really work on healing, doing a lot of healings with this and giving you a lot of information. Okay? You're not alone out there. I have seen, sadly, way too many.
Right. And so next Monday, we're going to have Dr. Kathy Forte on.
So Kathy Forte, I don't even know how to explain what Kathy's going to talk about. I actually don't. I wrote it. I mean, she wrote it. She sent it to me, and I looked at that, and I was like, I read it like 10 times. John, do you know how to explain it?
Well, it makes me think of what you were talking about, the people that were the blueprint creators, the that's what I first thought of when I started
Okay.
to read that. I was thinking these are
Yeah.
the
Architects. The architects.
the world not the world, but the universe architects, and and ancient souls, and the connection with Egypt, and
Yeah.
all of that, and Kathy is like, she's a psychologist, and
Yeah.
she's metaphysical, and it's going to be a very interesting deep dive, because Kathy was our
Yeah.
first guest when we started this show
5 years ago.
5 years ago. And
Yeah.
interestingly enough, I went to tell you this before we went on. I'm looking at the YouTube comments, and people are commenting on Kathy's video just recently from 5 years ago,
You're
asking questions.
kidding.
No, so I think
Oh,
it's very timely that we're having her back on
well, I'll tell you
Monday.
a funny thing is after I saw her, she was on our Starseed show,
Yeah,
and I said to John, I said, I gotta have Kathy back on.
you do.
And I sent her a text. I said, you know what? Shirley has to do something Monday. I said, why don't you just join us on Monday?
Yeah,
And I didn't hear back from her. She was out for a walk. She was with a friend walking, and she said to her friend, I haven't been on Kelly's show for a long time. I should get in touch with her. I should get back on this show. How weird is that? She comes home and she sees the text that I sent her. I
yeah.
mean, you
And
guys are
she's been
gonna
on my
love her.
mind because she does this really cool thing with healing and
Oh
computers,
yeah.
and sacred geometry and all that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Kathy, get into VR with me,
Oh
because
my
I
God.
think
So
you
true,
would
John.
absolutely love it. So yeah,
No,
so
she's otherworldly,
yes.
unbelievable, and
She was
brilliant.
the first person that we actually, when we were talking about
Yeah.
star seeds at the Conscious Life Expo, you brought it up, and James is like, talk to Kathy Forte about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we're looking forward to have Kathy
You're
on.
gonna love
She's an
Kathy.
author, and her book. I mean, so you can go into our archives on YouTube and catch
Yeah.
our first episode with her, and be prepared for this deep dive on Monday.
It's
So
a deep dive.
yeah,
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 you have to listen hard because it's a lot.
it's a lot. And
But
I'm
it's gonna
seeing
be
people
fun.
already join our Zoom, so I'm seeing
Oh,
the
good.
waiting room light up, so that's great. So I put the link in the comments, and
Oh,
it's also in our group. So thank
perfect.
you, Kel. Love you very
Oh,
much.
love you too, John. Thanks, everybody. I wish I could join you, but I've got to jump on a session with somebody. So
All
take care,
right.
everybody. We'll see you Monday,
Yes.
and have a good week.
All
Talk to you
right.
later. Bye. Yay.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now, featuring the unconventional duo Dr. Shirley and Kellee White. Two perspectives, one world.